Good morning and welcome back to Life Lessons with Sheila. I'm so glad that you're here with me. About a month ago, I asked one question on my community tab, ready to be flooded with a bunch of nonsense questions that I would literally not bother on a video. But to my surprise, I have a few really intriguing questions to answer. And I decided to make a whole video for each of the questions asked, because that's how I am. I am extra. I love talking about myself. Just kidding. I just want you guys to feel heard, and I hope to curb any curiosity you may have about me. So let's get on with today's video, shall we? First, let me give this little plug. If you have any questions that you've been pondering about me, please don't be shy. Don't hesitate to ask me. As long as you're sincere, I will answer them. Nikki asked, what keeps you motivated to uplift people? Is it your natural state, or did you need it at a point in your life? Well, first let me say thank you to Nikki for being brave enough to ask not only a question, but one so deep and, well, to be honest, personal. I appreciate all the support, kindness, and grace that you have given me here on my channel. I hear you and I see you. I see the contribution you make in the community posts and on videos. Thank you again, and I'm going to answer your question to the best of my ability. I'm going to break this up into two parts, because the first question is a double doozy. Simply meaning I have a lot to share on that topic of motivation and how it has become a part of who I am and why I personally chose to use that on my social media platform to encourage and motivate others. So I'm going to answer that part last. The first question, or the first one I'm going to answer, is being motivated to uplift people a part of my natural state, or did I need it at a point in my life? Good question. As I think back to my childhood, when we used to play pretend, I had many roles that I would play. First, I was always a mom. Second, sometimes I was a teacher. Other times I was a secretary at a lucrative office, though at the time I didn't realize I was working for a lucrative company. That is what level I pretended to be on. Then I once or twice pretended to be on stage talking to millions of people about things I don't even remember. What kid plays pretend in such a way? Me, that's who. Fast forward to high school. I was friends with everyone. I had friends in every social circle you could imagine. I didn't see them the same way everyone else did. I would never group them in a certain category. They were just people, just friends. Back then, we're talking about the late 80s, early 90s, we treated people better than some of the adults my age treats people now. Sad to say, but that is the truth. Of course, we didn't have the internet to deal with either. When you did something, there was no deleting it. Everyone knew about it. The perk of being from a small town, and you dealt with the consequences. I always say I grew up in the best time ever. Of course, there are many who would argue with me, but I have seen some amazing things happen in my life. I experienced a childhood where you played outside until the streetlights came on, and there was evidence of where everyone was simply by the mountain of bicycles and skates outside in the driveway. After I graduated from high school, I graduated with my cosmetology license. More so because my mother wanted me to, simply because it was something she had longed to have done in her life and never did. I did though, and I will admit I loved it. For my senior year, at the end of my junior year, I went out for our district secretary of VICA, which was Vocational Instruction Clubs of America, and I won the position. That summer, we went to a leadership conference where all the various district officers met and went through leadership training. I absolutely loved it. I loved everything about it. It was a great start to my senior year, but I didn't love standing on my feet cutting hair for 10 hours straight. The tips were great, and I moved into a management position shortly after starting. But I didn't feel that hair was my calling. So after a year and a half, I quit, and I went to work for a Western retailer and loved every bit of that. The perks were nice: free box seats at the rodeo, that's in the sweet section, discounts on purchases, and I moved up the ladder from sales through management and even into buying merchandise for the whole store. It was quite an adventure. Then I got pregnant with the twins, and the company was sold to 2 separate companies. By that time, I knew that all the ins and outs of the entire store and went to the side that handled all the company accounts that handled safety wear. I decided, though, by almost the time at the end of my pregnancy that I was going to quit and become a stay-at-home mom. Then when the twins were 2 and our daughter was going on 5, I made the decision to go back to work. I started teaching. It wasn't long after I started teaching that I was moved into a leadership position once again. I was always the one who was asked to lead us in prayer, and I always was the lead teacher in the classroom until my last year, since I had asked to move up in the age group and someone else had been in that position before me. That was not why I quit teaching, as I had been feeling stuck for a couple of years before that move, thinking that moving up in the age group would lead me to finding fulfillment once again. Sadly, it did not. It only fueled my desire to find better. I took it as a sign from God that it was indeed my time to move on, and I got that same feeling every time it was my time to move on from a job. Which, guess what? I changed my entire career path once again to an admin assistant in a local accounting firm. I knew nothing about accounting when I first began, but on my last day, I could complete the data for a payroll audit. I could fill out a SOC 1 report with my eyes shut, and so many other tasks. Of course, that position was a one-person show, so no leadership skills required, but I know I did good work. During that time, I created and developed my love for motivation, mindset development, and encouraging others to become their best version of themselves. Whether that be by setting an example or answering the call to motivate a team of other employees. Why am I like I am? Because I needed someone like me various times in my life. I needed to be encouraged and motivated, but never found someone in my immediate circle who would mentor me, though I learned in time that everyone has a capability to encourage me if I'm open to them. It has always been in my nature to encourage, and I do have a desire to do so on a grander level than I have allowed myself. And I want to be that person to someone that I once needed in my life. I once thought it would be enough to just reach one person, and if I could encourage just one, I would be satisfied. Not anymore. Now I want to encourage thousands, if not millions, to love the life they're living and find inspiration in every minute of it. My vision has expanded, and for that I am grateful. Now for the second part of saving the best for last. What keeps you motivated to uplift people? I did not realize this until just recently, but what keeps me motivated to uplift people is because, like you indicated, I needed someone like me in my life and never found her. Sure, I found friends who would uplift me from time to time, but no one to really push me into a higher level of thinking, into a state of realizing how powerful we are as people, and how we can indeed find inspiration and guidance from the smallest of details in life. The little moments of family dinner together with your grown kids, their mates, your grandbabies, and how on an ordinary Taco Tuesday night, you come together and make memories. The tiny drives to and from work that bring inspiration to your mind, the little whispers from God in those quiet drives that motivate me, and I hope you too. It is in the quiet moments that God speaks the loudest. It is also His wisdom and guidance that I strive to find in the everyday moments. I stay motivated because I know there is someone out there who needs me to just speak life into their situations, because they have come to a crossroad in their own life. I know that there are times when the sun is shining so brightly in our lives, yet we see nothing but gloom and doom. I want to be that whisper that talks to you into walking in the sun and looking at the sky on a clear day, rather than stay in your dark room, so to speak, waiting for the next shoe to drop. I keep going, even if the numbers don't make sense to some, because it gives me life to see that I have sparked someone's joy, or at least their curiosity about why I'm so positive. How can I be? I lost my husband, my soulmate, my other half, but I still have 3 beautiful kids, my grandbaby, my sister-in-law, my brother, and many friends in my life that continue to lift me up on hard days. They might think they couldn't live without me, but it's the other way around. I know that God calls us to all of every season we find ourselves in. And if you're in a season of loneliness, I get you. If you're in a season of dread, I understand. If you're in a season of celebration, let's party. I only want the best for you. And I know that my journey here on YouTube will be used to change lives. to change hearts, and to bring the family of God together. Whether I see it in my lifetime or if it waits until I go to heaven, I know the lives I have impacted simply by just being me will be astounding. I hope I don't sound conceited by saying that, but I do hope I sound as confident in it as I feel. Nikki, I hope that I have answered your question. If not, feel free to reach out and let me know you need deeper clarification. And if you have any questions that you would like me to answer during this series, please do not hesitate to ask them in the comments below, and I will indeed answer your questions. And with that, I thought I would end with a quote that I've held on to for so long in my life. You have been assigned this mountain so you can show others that it can be moved. That was said by Mel Robbins. And with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Go out there today and be an inspiration to someone else. It just may save a life, maybe even your own. I'll talk to you later.